Day number 3 of Arkansas Anime Festival. Well, welcome to the voice actor panel. My name is John Swayze, and to the left of me is
Barry
and to the right of me sits
Kyle Jones.
Thank you and good day.
That'll do it.
All right, good panel, everybody. So we're voice actors. I'll let Barry start, but he can introduce himself and what roles you've done and that kind of thing.
And then we'll open it up for any questions that you have, so don't be shy. Now's your chance. You have us captive. Barry Andell, and some of you may know Mr. Tube on Clay from One Piece, Little Demon from Soul Eater, William T. Spears from Black Butler. One of my latest, which is kind of really good, it's called Spy Family or Spike's Family. I'm Henderson, the headmaster. Yoki from Full Metal Alchemist, and a number of it, because we've been doing this a while, so we've got quite a resume of voices, and so we are so happy to be here. There's something really special about this one. It was well attended. Y'all are all so nice here in Arkansas, and please ask us anything you want after the introductions. Thank you for having us.
And how about a big hand for Barry Andell? My name is John Swayze, and I play All for One in My Hero Academia, Lord Death in Soul Eater, Undertaker in Black Butler, Hohenheim in Full Metal Alchemist, Crocodile in One Piece, Gendo in Evangelion, and a whole bunch of others. So just glad to be here. This is my second time to this convention. I was here about 8 or 9 years ago, and it's amazing to see how much it's grown and how big it is. I've been blown away. Y'all have been fantastic, and just as fans go, it's been one of the best shows I've ever been to. So kudos to you all, and well played. So thank you all for having
me. My name is Kyle Jones. I more direct and write. I do some acting, but directed, Made in Abyss, Haikyuu, Food Wars, Parasite, Akame ga Kill, Log Horizon, No Game No Life, a whole bunch of others. And because I'm old, kind of old. I hire guys like this to be in my shows. And so yes, and this is my first time here. I'm really enjoying the town and you guys. And like they said, you guys are super sweet. Or you all are super sweet.
Y'all are super sweet.
You got nothing on us. We're all from Texas. Wait, you don't got the hick thing down. We got you beat.
Anybody here last night come see our movie? So last night we showed a movie. We showed a movie that Kyle came up with. It's a live-action kaiju monster movie with Gamera. Gamera's a flying turtle, and it's he's like Godzilla, but he's a turtle. And Kyle, we did the movie for the Japanese customer, the client, you know. And then Kyle came up with the idea to do the entire thing as a bunch of Texas and Arkansas rednecks. So we dubbed the whole movie that way, and we showed it last night. So anyway, sorry if you guys missed it. It was fun. It was fun. There were lines like, well, "That's a big ass turtle." Anyway, so like Barry said, this is kind of a free-for-all. You've got us for the next 55 minutes or so. So if you have any questions at all you'd like to ask us about the industry, about our personal lives, some other actors' personal lives, I don't care, you know, whatever, just let us know, because that's what we're here for. So we don't really have an agenda. There's no script. It's all free form and free for all, so let her fly. If you have a question, just raise your hand. Shout it out.
Yes. Oh, all right.
Okay.
Hello.
All right. Right over here.
Well, I'll just ask the obvious one. I've got a daughter to get kind of into this. So what's the good tips for wanting to start a voice acting career? I mean, I'm sure everybody, that's the big question.
Sure. We get that asked a lot, and it's acting. It's first of all, it's acting more than voice acting. It's just acting. So learn to be an actor. Get acting training first. Don't worry about the voice side of it. Don't worry about whatever. Just go find an acting class wherever you are. Get involved in with the people and the culture and just the whatever, the whole pot of stuff, and things will start to happen after a while. But it takes a while. You know, it's not something, oh, go take an acting class for 5 weeks and you'll be good to go. But it's like learning to play a musical instrument. You can go down to Guitar Center and buy a $2,000 Gibson Les Paul, buy a Marshall stack amp, buy pedals and switches, spend, $10,000, bring it all home, plug it all in, set it up, strap it on and turn it on, and you don't know what to do. So it's about learning to play it. You've got the instrument. What you need to do is learn how to play. The most unique thing, the biggest thing that you would have going for you is that nobody in the world has a voice exactly like yours. So that's your strength. That's your, at least right now, that's your biggest strength. So don't try to change your voice or do different voices. Just be you. As a director, we would want to hear people that can act. Whatever voice they have is fine. But if you can't act, it doesn't matter if you can do really low or really high or whatever. That doesn't matter. You got to be able to act. So that's the most important thing I would say.
How old is your daughter?
She's
13. So perfect. I think the greatest exercise is to find little siblings or cousins or whatever and read children's books and practice all her different voices. And then in a couple of years, when she needs some volunteer hours because you're going to be applying for scholarships or whatever, you go to your local library and you tell them, would there be any interest in me coming in on Saturdays for an hour and reading to children that are there? And the librarian will ask you, well, how much do you charge? And she says, oh, I'll do it for free if you'll just sign my volunteer hours. And once the librarian, you pick her up off the floor because she fainted. I'm telling you, the thing is that children are so honest, and you'll be able to tell what voices they really love and what they don't. And then the other thing, adults too, when you're reading, I don't care if it's a sports magazine or a food ad from Walmart or whatever, read it out loud and practice being, I'm a radio voice, I'm a villain, I'm a whatever, and don't just read it in your head. Because I find that a lot of voice acting is cold reading. What y'all don't know, we don't get the script ahead of time. We don't know anything till we step into the booth and see the picture and get a few notes from the directors. So it's really cold reading, just trying to, and then the teacher in me says, reading in general, because I didn't read enough growing up. If you can learn a love of reading, you'll increase your vocabulary and directors respect smart actors. So be smart.
Very, very true. Coming from the acting, from the directing side, what I did was really get involved in your just local filmmakers and whatnot. Hold the boom mic, go in there and run tape, be tree number 3. Just get out there and do those little film festivals, the 24 hours, 48 hours. Splatterfest is one of my favorite. Then you'll start to get to know all the people, and eventually somebody's going to say, well, we need a dude in the background to get hit with this water balloon. You go, oh, me, that's me. And then remember water balloon face? That face would be great for this over here. And then you'll start to meet people and just kind of get into the whole shebang. And then you might find out that, you know what, I like the sound recording part better than the acting part. And you can find yourself in there anywhere.
And local community theater, let her audition for that. So all of these ideas, and the good thing for you is we've really done this. So we're not just saying stuff to fill the time. It's pretty good advice. I learn when I'm on a panel, I listen to these guys that are smarter than me.
Do you know this? You know the band Pink Floyd? You know the song "Welcome to the Machine"? Nobody knows that, John. Yeah, they do. They're cool. It is like a machine. You're getting yourself into it and getting caught up into it, and the cogs and the mechanisms and the fixtures and the all that stuff, and let yourself get in there and get involved, because you never know where it will take you. I started out. I went 15 years old when I went to New York, and I saw a play, a musical, on Broadway with my parents called Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And it was an amazing. It wasn't with Donny Osmond bullshit. It wasn't that. It was the real deal, like the real cast. And Lori Beecham actually was. Do you know her that name? I mean, she. Okay, well, I figured you would, but she did. Yeah, she passed away a while ago. But she played the narrator, and really, in the story Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, the star of the show is the narrator, not Joseph. But I digress. Anyway, I was so blown away. That was the moment I decided I'm no longer going to be a marine biologist and study sharks. I'm going to be an actor. And I bugged my parents the entire rest of our trip for 2 weeks up in the Northeast. I'm going to be an actor. I'm going to be an actor. Well, why don't you be a lawyer? Lawyering kind of like acting. You have to act in the courtroom. I was like, yeah. So I went to college, did all that stuff. Anyway, it's just a process, and you just have to do it. Well, I wanted to be on Broadway. And then I got back to Houston. Then I decided, no, I want to do improvisational comedy and sketch comedy like Saturday Night Live, because there was a club in Houston that did that. And then I was like, no, I want to do movies and commercials. So I started doing that. Then I was like, no, I want to do radio spots and voiceover. So I started doing that. And then somebody goes, hey, try this thing called anime. And I was like, what's anime? All right, I'll give it a try. And it was just another gig. And here I am, 30 years later. This is my life. I would have never have imagined. You can ask Lucy Christian, Monica Rial, Chris Sabat, any of them. No one would ever have foreseen or imagined this is what we would be doing when we first started on our journey. So you gotta, it's a cliche, take a step. You gotta take that step and keep going. And every day, do one step to get you further down the road.
So I want to name drop real quick because you put it in my head. So my background is musical theater, and I did the Broadway tour of South Pacific several years ago, and our
Bloody Mary is the
the star of our show was also the narrator in Joseph. But you know her more. I'm totally name dropping here. I hope I impress you. You know her as Ariel, the Little Mermaid, Jodie Benson. I went to a pool party at her house because she loved me. And we'd be off stage, she'd be like, and she really sounds like Ariel. She's like, are you mad at me, Barry? I'm like, what? She goes, you're not trying to make me laugh. I said, well, you have a dramatic scene coming up. She goes, oh, poo. And she would send for me in my costume, or when I was getting ready, she'd send for me to come to her dressing room, and she would say, make me laugh. Well, that's kind of hard when you get put on the spot. But it was uncomfortable for me, because at the time she was nursing her baby, and I was like, I'll have a Diet Coke instead. Anyway, so yeah, Ariel, I just had to name drop. It was really awesome, yeah. But yeah, she did the narrator in Joseph.
So your acting career is much like this panel. You never know where it'll start and where it'll end. So.
And how long it will go on.
How long it'll go on.
Next question.
Anybody else have a question?
Oh, come on, don't be shy.
Come on, somebody's got to want to know something.
So you guys said that you kind of start out in different areas. Anybody, is there any recognizable TV or movie live action acting that you guys did? Maybe where you guys from?
Did you ever see the movie Dazed and Confused? No? No. Did you see Dazed and Confused? So there's a scene where a guy's delivering a keg of beer. I'm the beer delivery guy.
He brings it too early and gets the kid in trouble.
Yeah. I'm the small but pivotal role in the movie where it shifts and goes that way.
Now, me and my buddies used to quote, inconvenient for you, wrong Mr. Pickford altogether, all the time. And then I met this guy and I'm going, oh,
You're that guy.
you're that guy.
I will tell you a funny story. One time I was driving up to Shreveport, Louisiana from Houston for a film audition. And the part called for about a 40-something years ago, obviously. 40-something-year-old, kind of heavy-set guy with a big mustache. He's going to play the corrupt sheriff. And I was like, well, I'm born to play that part, right? So I'm driving up, 5-hour drive from Houston all the way up to Shreveport, Louisiana. And I've got this kid with me who's also going to audition as one of the teenagers. The premise of the movie was about a bunch of teenagers out on a saltwater lake in Louisiana, and some other ne'er-do-well, older teenagers somehow get a hold of some sharks, and they put the sharks in the saltwater lake and strap GoPros on them so they can YouTube live shark attacks. Yeah.
This sounds like a great movie, John.
Yeah. So we drive up. We drive the 5 hours up. This kid's like 19 years old, but a big kid. And every stop we make, bathroom, gas, food, whatever, this kid feels the need to go to somebody where we are and go, how you doing? Yeah, we're a couple actors out of Houston. We're on our way up to Shreveport for auditioning for a movie. Like it's going to impress somebody. And I was just like, dude, you don't need to do that. That's embarrassing. So we do that the whole way up. We audition, get in our car, drive back. The whole way back. Every stop, bathroom, gas, food, whatever. He says, yeah, we're a couple actors. We just auditioned for a movie. That's, called Shark Story. Probably haven't heard of it yet. It's not out yet. Dude, what are you doing? You sound like an idiot. But there's a little town north of Houston called Livingston, and it's on a lake, Lake Livingston. We pull into Lake Livingston about 10 o'clock on Thursday night to get gas and to go to the bathroom. And I run into the bathroom first. I come out of the bathroom, and he goes into the bathroom right after me. And I grab a Diet Coke, and I put it on the counter. And the little girl behind the counter goes, are you one too? I said, excuse me? She goes, are you one too? I said, I really don't know what you're asking. Am I 1, 2, 3? I don't know, what do you ask me? Are you an actor? Then it dawns on me, oh, he obviously told her that we're actors, blah, blah. I said, yes, I'm an actor. Did you audition for that movie? I said, yes, I did. And she goes, wow, that's so cool. Have you ever been in a movie? I said, yeah, I have, done some movies. And she goes, what movies have you done? I said, well, have you ever heard of Dazed and Confused? She went, no. Have you ever heard of a movie called 8 Seconds? And she went, oh my God, that is my favorite movie in the world. I said, well, I have a small role in that. And
That's a rodeo movie, right?
Yeah, it's about a bull rider named Lane Frost, and Luke Perry was the star of it.
That's right.
And Stephen Baldwin played Tuff Hedeman. And I said, it's a very small role. She goes, who'd you play? Who'd you play? And I was like, oh, it's so embarrassing. I don't even have a name. It's Drunk Cowboy is the name of the role. And I'm like, well, I play this small role. They're in a bar shooting pool. And this cowboy walks up to them and wants to buy them a drink. And you don't want to buy them a drink, but they just want a Coca-Cola. But you don't want to buy them a Coca-Cola. You want to buy them a beer or something. But you don't want to. And then you get into a big fight and oh my God, I cannot believe you're in my store. What the hell? She is flipping out. And so this guy comes out of the bathroom and he sees what's going on. And she's like, can I get a picture with you? And I said, sure. Oh no, she goes, can I take a picture of you? And I said, sure. And then the guy goes, why don't I get a picture of the both of you? And she's like, oh my God. And she comes next to me and she's just going, I'm Drunk Cowboy. I don't understand. She goes, this is my favorite movie in the whole world. I love that movie so much. And so we do the picture and she's just like, oh, I'm never going to, I got to call my sister right now, So we leave, we get in the car, and this kid goes, dude, that was so cool, man. God, I wish something like that would happen to me. I was like, well, it took 25 years, partner, so buckle up. But I did get home, and I told my wife the story, and I was like, we were having a good laugh over it, and I put a cap on it by going, so things around here are going to change, honey. Because if you don't appreciate me, I will get my ass up to that Chevron in Livingston where they love me.
Let me tell you this, though. You can all be Drunk Cowboy right now.
And I worked with pre-Scientology Tom Cruise on a film called Born on the 4th of July. Yes, but they rewrote the ending and I was cut. So, you will not see me. Well, there's one time you'll see me in the picture now is not pretty.
Is that the scene where you're like, come on, you can walk, do it? And
Yeah.
you get out of the chair.
I wish. No. I was in little green hip huggers and lamb chop. Anyway, you will not see me because they totally rewrote the ending to make it happier because it was originally a very sad ending, but the audiences, I guess, didn't like it. So I'm on the cutting room floor somewhere. But I will say he was incredibly nice, and we were supposed to be Miami in the summer, and we were in Dallas in November, so it was supposed to be hot, and we didn't have on a lot of clothes, and we were freezing. And Tom offered to share his heater with me.
That's how movies work. That's the magic of Hollywood, right? Because it could have been, it's supposed to be mid-November in Dallas, and you're shooting in August in Miami.
That's worse.
Everybody's got to have on.
That's worse. I can deal with it. Okay, she's just stretching. Next, there we go. Jennifer. I remembered. Aren't you proud of me? Jennifer does children's theater as a character actor, and we have a lot in common.
Oh, really?
Go ahead.
Good for you.
So, as voice actors, what are some of your favorite warm-ups? Because as you know, you have to keep your voices warm. And so, what are some of your favorite warm-ups? And how do you keep your voice warm? And when your voice isn't warm, let's say you have a cold, what are some of your favorite remedies to get your voice back into shape?
2 words. Jack Daniels.
My go-to warm-up is I sing in the car on the way over. Just kind of opens up everything, exaggerate all the notes, and get all the gunk out from the morning, which I still have some singing to do this morning. When I have someone in who has a cold, well, there's a thing called throat coat that helps quite a bit. Nose spray is important. But if a character, if they've already recorded half of the episode and then they have a cold, you just got to send them home because it's not going to sound the same. But there are areas of your voice that you can avoid the nose part, and then you're fine. Like if you're up here, it doesn't matter. If you have a cold, no one will know. But if I'm down here and it's coming out the nose and you can hear it.
Yeah, the warm-up is actually very, very important because if you don't warm yourself up, when you get in the booth and just try to go, you're gonna stumble, you're gonna, and I go back to like learning the guitar. Musicians, when they do a rock concert, they have a guitar in their dressing room, and they're playing hours before the show. They're practicing the songs. I mean, they want to get it right. So it's not just, give me that, I'll play a song, and they just nail it. It's a lot of practice, and you have to get yourself in the right frame with warm-ups and stuff like that. I will say nowadays, because post-COVID or post-pandemic, if anybody is feeling bad for whatever reason, don't even come in. Just don't. I don't know if you have it. I don't care, but I don't want to take a chance. So just don't. In the old days, it would be like, well, we can muddle through. We'll see what we can do. But like Kyle said, if it's too far off, you're going to notice it in the recording, and it's just no good. So you just have to reschedule it. And we did have an actor. This is kind of sad, but I hope he's doing well. He was recording a show for me, the Dallas actor, and he was the lead. And he had done the season prior. And he had an enormous amount of lines. An enormous amount of lines. And he just, he was ripping up his throat. And he had something medically apparently going on. But we had to recast him. And we're going to have to put a disclaimer on the video because he did like the first 4 episodes out of 12. And so we have to put a disclaimer on there, kind of like when you go to the theater and instead of seeing Laurie Beecham, there's a little card in the booklet that says, the role of the narrator will be played by Barry Sandell, or Barry Yandell, excuse me.
Or Sandell.
Or Sandell, whatever. Anyway, so it's just, that's unfortunate, but as a voice actor, you have got to take care of your voice, So when I say Jack Daniels, I say that as a joke.
Because that's very dry.
But drinking, smoking, those are all going to be detrimental to you, unless all your characters are like, hello, how are you?
I've spent the weekend learning so much from these guys, but maybe they'll learn from me. I think most vocal warm-ups are just silly, but I learned one in graduate school that has saved my life. And I have gone into the booth, and it's not even like a tongue twister thing. There are just words that won't come out. And I'm known for one takes. I'm fast. But sometimes I just can't get it out. So here's what I do. I will be like, excuse me a minute. I'm ready, and like magic, it happens. So I'm going to share it with you, and you're going to do it with me, and you're going to think I'm punking you. I'm not. So I won't give you the whole list. The tongue is a muscle. We forget the tongue is a muscle, and those of you that are into the sports ball thing, you know that if you don't warm up, you don't do your best, or you can get injured. I've never heard of anybody having a tongue injury because they didn't warm up, but you literally do this. It's brilliant. It also helps for stage, because when I'm off stage, I want to be in character. I don't want to be thinking, make sure and project, enunciate. This solves the problem, and it helps with projection as well. So you literally stick out your tongue as far as you can. Everybody do it. To where it's almost uncomfortable. And then I use the text from whatever I'm doing, but we're all going to do happy birthday. Is anybody's birthday today? Or coming up soon? Today? What's the name?
Happy birthday.
What's the name? Talon? Okay.
Oh, yeah, Talon.
So we are all going to sing happy birthday to Talon as normally as if we were doing happy birthday, dear Talon. But we're going to do it with our tongue extended. And if it's not uncomfortable, you're not doing it right. And it's uncomfortable. But it is the greatest warm-up. And I do it in the car on the way to the studio. And one time, I'm not kidding you, the semi drove up way up high, and I was like, what? And then he was like, and I was like, hey.
He's probably like, pull over, buddy.
He offered me a 20. But anyway, so here's what we do. We're going to sing Happy Birthday, Dear Talon. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Okay, stop. Are you feeling it? Because if you're not feeling it, you're doing it right. So now stick it out even further. And we're also not going, we're using our articulators. Happy birthday. Okay, ready? Happy birthday, dear Talon. Happy birthday to you. Do you feel it? It warms you up. Talon, how old are you?
He's 13.
So he's going to have this memory. It's either going to be good and special, or we just scarred you for life. Anyway, there you go, Jennifer. I'm telling you, that has saved me, because I can be in the booth and have a problem, and I can do that for 5 seconds. You can also do it silently before an audition. Just be careful if you're sitting in the lobby, because if you're like, people will look at you funny, or you might end up with an interesting date. Okay, next question.
The articulators is important, though.
Oh,
yes.
Ooh, wee, ooh, wee.
So, to do dogs, you have to, like, you said you're from Texas. Do you stay in Texas to do dogs, or do you, like, travel to do dogs? What does that mean?
So, Texas is unique in that it's known for two things: oil and anime production. And I'm not kidding you. Funimation, Crunchyroll up in Dallas, Sentai, AMC Networks down in Houston. You've got satellite studios like Okratron, Sound Cadence,
Gearbox for gaming.
Rooster Teeth, a studio down in Houston. A friend who's just a home studio, but he does anime and dubbing. We produce more anime than anyone else in North America. Now, it used to be like if you were going to work for Funimation, you would drive up. If I live in Houston, I would drive up to Dallas. If Barry lives in Dallas and he's going to work for Sentai, he would drive down to Houston.
Because it's 4.5 to 5 hours.
Yeah.
It's Texas.
One way.
Yeah.
So now, and it's all kind of happened because of the pandemic, we've really embraced remote recording, where you could be at your house with a setup, and I'm in Houston, but I'm going to record you from Arkansas, but it's just going to come down to Houston, and that's where we're going to record it via phone lines. Not telephone lines, it's fiber optic stuff.
Streaming.
So, streaming, basically. And that has enabled us to broaden our talent base immensely.
It's pretty remarkable, too. Like just last week, I recorded someone in Prague, and it was all live sound, and we're showing the video to him in the Czech Republic, and we're recording people.
I'm going to Cambodia and Thailand, and then I'm in New York for a while, and I'm sensing I'm going to work on Spy Family from New York. So, and what's interesting is, you always think acting. Los Angeles, New York. I've met, this sounds bad, wannabe voice actors. I don't mean it bad. moving from LA to Texas, because Texas is just that
Yeah.
big a deal.
It is, the cost of living is cheaper, way cheaper than LA, you know. But it's very specific to anime. You know, we're not doing Prelay, Family Guy, and Simpsons, and you know whatever else there is. But the thing is, and what really kind of, and I know this is frustrating to me, it's got to be frustrating to everybody in the industry, is that we could do it. If we could get people to come to Texas to do that, the people that make the decisions, like Warner Brothers, why don't you open up a studio in Texas? You know, we've got the talent base. That's not a question. Everything from actors all the way to gaffers on film, everything. We've got it all in Texas. We've done it, you know. So it would be cool. But right now, it's pretty much just anime. But that's pretty much what I do. Except, I will tell you this, and this goes back to your question about getting in, how do you get into it? Kyle and I do some of our own projects together. You know, they're outside of the anime space. We just, you know, Kyle came up with a really fun animation that we're pitching, actually. I haven't told you this, but we are. But it's called Zeke and Zerlon, and it's about a space alien named Zerlon 6 who crash lands his spacecraft in a trailer park in Texarkana. And he can't get it fixed, so he just puts it up on blocks. And he's right next to a guy in his trailer on blocks named Zeke. And the two of them just sit out in front of their thing in a baby pool with their feet in the baby pool, drinking beer, talking about stuff. Very, you know, they're shorts, right? 4 or 5 minutes long.
So I get to just kind of, and Jay Hickman is Zerlon 6, John is Zeke. And, you know, just kind of throw any sort of topic, and so you'll have this very narrow Zeke view versus this intergalactic view from Zerlon 6, and you can, you know, whatever, what do you eat? And it'll, let them kind of riff, and then we'll throw ideas and kind of ad-lib the whole thing, have some talking points, and then let them be silly.
Yeah. So you can create your own content. You know, you have the means now with YouTube, the internet in general. You can create your own stuff. You know, if you have we did one thing we were trying to create called Vanishing America, and it was more like a PBS or NPR type of thing where it's just audio, but it's the little things about America that make Americana stuff. And the first one we did was the Wisconsin Butter Festival. And I don't know if there is a butter festival, but we just made it up.
There's gotta be.
But we just, you know, started talking, and we wrote this thing, and it's just silly, you know, it's just silly.
And
but you can put that out on YouTube, and it, you know, the bottom line is,
That
if it gets traction, you know, then somebody's gonna come knocking at your door going, hey, we'd like to buy this, or we'd like to license this and put it up on the big screen, you know, or whatever.
The sad part about the Butter Festival is dwindling because, well, all the attendees eat a whole lot of butter.
And if you've got butter in your hot like I do, anyway.
Yeah, right. That'll be next.
Clear. Nobody's hands are up. I want to ask you. I'm going to turn the tables. Those of us, don't worry about making one of us feel like a loser, but of the three of us that are up here, can y'all think of a character that you know that you like, and if you want to tell us why or whatever, blurt it out. Who knows? John, Colin,
I'll be quiet over here.
So for you said Spy Family, right?
Yeah, the headmaster Henderson that wants everything to be elegant.
Yes. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of new to anime. This is just pretty cool for me.
I haven't seen a lot of my shows.
So, but Spy Family, I really like it. So I love that character.
I think I'm going to be pulled into it. And it amazes me, y'all, just real quick. When we used to voice things, it would be 3 to 5 months before the DVD was, before it would air. And I was working on a show called Restaurant to Another World, I think. And I went in, and the director goes, by the way, the fans love your character. Well, it was like 2 days later or 3 days. I said, oh, well, how do they know? She goes, oh, you didn't know this airs like 2 days later, streams like 2 days later. So I was talking to somebody at my table, and they said, yeah, Spy X Family. I said, well, I know some of mine is aired. She goes, oh, I just watched the dodgeball game. And I went, I did that like 3 days ago. Amazing. So they're very up to date. Well, good. Welcome. Thanks for watching.
I do play Hohenheim, yes.
That character is very important to me because, well, it's a show about family. I want you to connect with my brother and sisters. And the father character, all tied together. So that character is very important to me for a very long time.
Cool. Thank you.
Do y'all know that really means a lot to us when you say stuff like that? That's
Yeah.
a really nice thing to say.
I play a lot of dads and a lot of bad guys. Sometimes they're the same guy. But yeah, Hohenheim was a lot of fun. He you know, he's kind of like Gendo in a way. He's got this, you know, he loves his kids. Just has a really hard time showing it, you know. And it you know, you get into it's a tug of war, an internal tug of war, I think. Family versus my purpose in life. What do I need to get accomplished? And what's more important, you know? But thank you for saying that. I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. Thank you. We had a question over here.
Yeah, if you have a request for you, John, in your Gendo voice, can you please say, get the robot Shinji?
Get in the robot, Shinji. Yes, I can. Thank you.
He's talented.
Yeah.
I also have a question for you, John. About crocodile.
All right.
Do you think that crocodile used to be a girl?
Yeah, so there's a theory out there that crocodile might be a girl. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't. Have you seen any evidence to point to that direction? Other than like somebody put it on Twitter?
Scars on his face.
I really like the fan theory. So I'm kind of hoping that it's true.
It could be. I don't know. That might be a fun reveal if it is.
There was a rumor that John Swayze used to be a girl. So,
Again, on Twitter. So,
Yes.
you know.
Biologically, we all were. At one point.
Is that right?
In the womb, we all start off as girls.
Oh, okay.
And a fish.
Is it the sperm that makes the decision?
I don't know, it's the chromosomes. We all start off as double X and then a Y sneaks in.
welcome to reproduction class. Well, I know that if you're like me, even though I don't watch tons of anime, all of my just friends in real life are like uber fans of Food Wars, and so I'm dying to get on that show. But you know, you might have heard that Kyle directs Food Wars. Any of you fans of Food Wars? I heard people talking about that, trying the recipes and stuff. I think that's so cool.
I get some cool pictures sent my way. And then a lot of people want to show me their foodgasm.
Great. It is amazing though. Anime can make food look amazing.
True.
It's like they really pour in the, turn up the animation.
Once 11 o'clock hits and we're, you know, laying down lines and everyone's just going, can we just do lunch?
Yeah.
You'll hear, we've recorded many a belly grumble in the booth.
Restaurant to Another World always made me hungry because he was always eating this spaghetti pasta or something, and I was like,
Who do you play in Restaurant?
a grandfather. I think his name's Thomas. Y'all know, you're shaking your head. It was funny. We did a rap party at some hibachi thing. The first time I actually met Monica Riel and knew who she was. And Chris Sabat put on a chef hat and did a little shtick. And this guy sat next to me. He goes, "Hello." We don't know each other as what. He goes, "Hello." I went, "Hello." He goes, "I'm your grandson." I was like, "Huh?" "Oh, from the show." Whatever. So I got to meet my grandson.
Well, I'm in Restaurant to Another World. I didn't get invited to their cast rap party.
That's because you live in Houston. It was probably a Dallas thing only.
Womp womp.
Anyway, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, Monica Rial is a big deal. I mean, you know, and she walked by, she goes, "Hi, Barry, how are you doing?" And there was this girl, I go, "Who was that?" She goes, that was Monica Rial. Well, I've worked with her since and appeared on panels and stuff, so now I know who she is. But, yeah, well, y'all don't know, we work pretty much alone. And we record either to pre-recorded voices or to silence. There'll be 3 beeps, and that's when we know when to speak. But people will be like, what was so-and-so like to work with? And I'm like, I don't know, I've never met her. But she played your daughter. What's your point? Those of you that are Black Butler fans, you ready to be shocked? You know, all my scenes, William scenes with Grell, I've never met him. I know, see that look on your face? You pick up your teeth. I have never met him, and if I did, I wasn't aware of it. And I don't know if his name is like Daniel Frederick or something like that. But yeah, and he has a pop and I don't, so I'm mad.
So Monica Rial, she used to cut my hair after sessions.
Yeah.
We would do our session, and I would start scheduling her for roles when I needed a haircut.
Oh, that's smart.
And $10.
Wow.
That's why it's always best if you're a director to find a masseuse who wants to be a voice actor.
But yeah, I mean, when we were talking earlier, you never know where this rocket ship's going to take us. Monica Rial was going to be a hairdresser.
Yeah.
Now she's not. Well, she did offer to cut my hair last time she was in town. Of course, now it's $10,000.
Anybody have a question? Anybody? Come on, there we go.
Yeah, who was your the hardest character that took you a minute to understand and get it going, or to do their voices? What was which character? I know you guys got multiple characters. Which one was your hardest character to do?
I talked about this yesterday. There was a show called Honey Bada, which was about badminton, and I was a coach. And he never spoke that he didn't scream. And it got really obnoxious, and the director said, we need to take a break to give your voice a rest. I said, my voice is fine, I just have a splitting headache. So that was a role that I enjoy. I make the best out of anything. I don't care if I'm playing Captain or Soldier B. I don't care, I make the best out of it. But that one was painful. So I have bad memories of Honey Bado.
Anything where you're having to scream a lot.
It gets a little...
I did a character named Gosaburo in a show called My Bride is a Mermaid. And every line he did was
Like this!
and it was brutal. We would have to, like Barry was just saying, we would work for about 15, 20 minutes and then take a 30-minute break. Because my voice was just, And then the other one for me was Salvador from a game called Borderlands 2. And it was just... everything he did was like this. A lot of gravel in the voice, and it just...
That'll tear you up.
It'll just rip you up, and after, you work for about 2 hours, and you're like, all right, I'll see you guys next week.
One of our, because I voice act some, but directing and casting and all that is more of my gig. One of the hardest ones to find was in Parasite, getting Migi, the actual parasite that's the talking hand at first, and goes beyond that. It's over and over, person after person was coming in. It's like, it's good, but it's still, everyone was really trying to put on a cartoon voice, and so it was coming off as silly, which it kind of looks silly, right? If you're like this talking finger, but you're supposed to be scared of this talking finger. And when Karbowski came in, and she has that weird voice anyway, but she kind of played it this dead heartlessness to it. So the silly went away, and it suddenly became kind of scary and spooky, and finally, but it took weeks and weeks. It was the last cast on that show. Anybody else?
I know Flesh Stick, when I did Flesh Stick in Borderlands, there was a lot of cackling and screaming. I hadn't thought about that until just now. That was pretty hard on the voice.
All right, there we have a question. Do we ever go online to see what people say about us? Yes. I was online one time and I found this YouTube video, and I play a character named Gendo in Evangelion, and I replaced the original actor because he just decided he didn't want to do it, I guess, but Gendo was originally played by an actor named Tristan McCavery, and back in the 80s or 90s, and I took the role over, and there was a YouTube video that was a comparison of let's play Tristan versus John Swayze and compare the two. And the two guys that were moderating were on either side of the and they were both trying to make a case for the other one. But at one point, the guy that was in Tristan's camp goes, look, I don't even know who this idiot John Swayze is. but he's no Tristan McCaffrey. It's like, oh, wow. So
Yeah,
we're all. I'm sorry. We're actors, and we're all fragile, and we want, we need attention and love and admiration and affirmation, and so when somebody says something bad, you're just kind of like, it sticks with you. I mean, you got to shake it off because it's like, whatever, 1,000 other people didn't say that, so why am I focusing on the one that did?
Yeah, and it's easy to go down that wormhole. But because I've been doing this so long, some of my earliest shows are now being redubbed or recreated, or someone decides they're going to add another season. So like Saint Seiya now has been redone twice. And then Log Horizon, the guy went to jail. I mean, what are you going to do? And then they came back with a very late third season that I didn't get to do. Kino's Journey got redone. And so I'll go in and, all right, let's see which one they like better. And then so far so good,
Well, and I do it. I did it last night because someone was saying something was posted. There's so much that's not true on there. Like we were talking yesterday, like net worth. I'm like, I don't know how you figured that I'm worth 19 million, but I wish it was true. Yesterday, I Googled and it said something about information about Barry Yandell, and it was this broken English. Barry Yandell is voice actor from Texas. He likes whatever. I mean, it was all this information, most of it true, but it was just so funny. I was like, who wrote this?
A computer.
So, well, possibly, very possibly. But yeah, we do.
I did have a moment. It wasn't an anime, but many years ago, back in the late '80s, before
There was no internet.
There was no internet, and I was doing a sketch comedy show at this club in Houston called the Comedy Workshop, and it was like my third or fourth show, and I really was in love with the premise. I loved doing sketch comedy and improv, and I felt very comfortable doing it. I was pretty good at it. Anyway, I did this show, and I'd done this interview with a little newspaper called Public News, and it was a little rag of a paper and local to Houston, but kind of a progressive underground reading. Anyway, they carried Public News at the club. They had a stack of them, and it was actors and stuff would always read it and stuff. So one day I came in for the show, it was call time, get there to the club, and my entire cast, or the cast except for me, everyone is just like, hey. Like, hey, how's it going? Whatever. Like, what did I do? Couldn't figure it out. So I picked up a Public News and I'm reading. There's an article about the show, and it's just trashing the show for being a piece of garbage. And then it gets to a point. However, there is one bright spot.
Oh.
John Swayze shines again as a whatever. It's just like, oh my gosh, why did you do that?
The early
Alienated me from the entire cast. I was like, and of course, the cast is blaming me. It's like, I didn't write that. Well, you did the interview. You could have done the interview,
Early on, I added the Colby, my middle name, to it. So Kyle Colby Jones usually shows up on the credits, and I wasn't trying to sound sophisticated or anything, but a very early internet search of Kyle Jones reveals a fella who really likes the old ladies. And that's all you could find. And so it was Kyle Jones, and they called him Granny Grabbers at the time. And so, I better separate myself from this Kyle Jones. So Kyle Colby Jones became my anime name.
Yeah. We got time for like one more question, guys, and we gotta go back. Yeah.
What's the best criticism that you received that helped shape you as an actor?
Say that one more time.
Your best criticism
that helped shape you as an actor. Wow, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Hey, that was a great take. Let's try it again, only this time don't suck.
Mine was more on stage, but I was denying it at first, and I realized, okay, it's true. It's called picking up your cues. So, like when the other actor putting less space to your response. But I was so wanting to feel it. So the actor would say their line, and I'd be like, but, you know, and I thought, I do not do that. And then I saw somebody, I was like, oh my God, I do that. And that's why as a stage director, I always notice when people do what I used to do. So picking up your cues, you know, let's get on with this.
And you can't quite do this the same on stage because the scripts a lot of times are, you know, copyrighted and very strict. You have to say these words. But in the recording booth, forget the words. Quit trying to say all these words right. Like people will read a line, like, I need to go to the house, but they read, I really want to go home. Like, oh, I said that wrong. Like, no, you said it right. But yeah, the words up here, just retype whatever they said. Because what your meaning, your intent is more important than the words themselves.
It comes out real.
Anything you do in voiceover, whether it's anime or selling toothpaste on a radio spot, it has to sound authentic and real and believable. It has to come from here, not here. You know what I mean? It has to.
And I say, if you believe it, that audience will believe it.
Like George Costanza said on Seinfeld, if you believe it, Jerry, it's not a lie. Guys, that's all the time we have. Thank you very much for coming out this morning. How about a big hand for Barry Yandell? And Mr. Kyle Colby Jones.
And John Swayze.
Thank you all so much. We'll be at our table. Come by, get an autograph, say hi. And
follow us on social media. And I always try to, I don't do Twitter, but I do Instagram. And I try to, my posts are nothing controversial. It's about like pedicures and sushi and travel and voice acting and Broadway. But we're really interested in your stories. Of course, we want you to come and spend lots of money. I might or might not be running a Sunday special today. You'll have to come see me to find out. But even if you just want to ask us a question, you were too shy to ask or whatever,
Totally.
I think you'll find that most voice actors, at least we're very approachable and we care about you, and we're so thankful that you help us pay our bills. So come to our tables and help us pay our bills. Thanks.